Okay, I can do this. If I just don't look down, everything will be fine, one step at a time. You slowly begin to make your way across the rickety wooden bridge that is strung high above the foggy valley. Your hands clench the worn ropes, with every new gust shaking your footing. Suddenly, your foot breaks through a rotten plank and you plummet through the newly created hole. Yelping as you fall, you barely manage to grab onto the next plank, narrowly avoiding certain death. Don't look down. You repeat to yourself with eyes shut tight and hanging on desperately, with legs dangling. Tentatively, you open them and are faced with a gray abyss beneath you. A wave of nausea, a cold sweat. You are frozen by fear. Staring, staring, staring into the abyss. Don't look down.
Hello, welcome back to Friends with Fear, episode 2. You might be thinking to yourself, wow, episode 2 already. Well, get used to it. These bad boys are going to be coming out hot and fast, weekly. At least that's going to be our idea. So last time in all my brilliance, I never actually introduced myself, so I'm going to do that now. I'm Charlie Hill, your benevolent host, and I'm joined once again by my array of hanger-ons. We got Joe Krebs.
Hey, what's up?
Devin Knupp.
Hello?
And my good pal, Karch Gilo.
Hello.
And they're all happy to be here, I assume.
I'm very happy to be here.
It's a beautiful day to be alive.
Because of this episode, because, as you know.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting to that. So this week we're going to be using a different format from our debut. It'll most likely become a familiar format that we use more often, or I could just be making that up and telling you a complete lie right now. But we're just going to give it a shot and see how it goes. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna discuss our fear of the week, which this week is altophobia / acrophobia. It means the same thing. It's the fear of heights. So we're gonna discuss that. Pretty prevalent fear in the world.
Yep.
And give it a ranking on our patented scare scale. And then after we get done with that discussion, since it probably won't take an hour like the first episode did, then we're gonna talk to Karch. He's offered to go over his biggest fears, discussing everything from how he deals with them to where they even came from.
I'm afraid of a lot of things, so this should be good. I'm scared of you. You scare me.
Wait, me?
Yeah. You,
How does that rank on the scare scale?
it's like a 10.
Out of 4?
I forgot the scare scale.
It's a 1 to 4 scale.
Patented, but
Before we move on, I just want a quick disclaimer about when I use phobia. Just want to make sure everyone knows that I do acknowledge the fact that phobia is a medical condition more than it is just being afraid of something. So I'm not making light of any phobias that someone may have. I don't think I have any real phobias, but I do respect all fears and phobias that you have. No judgment here on Friends with Fear.
We don't fear shame.
yeah, no fear shaming.
We love all the fears, or we.
That was a really
we're afraid
nice
of
rhyme.
them.
Well, okay, I don't know about love the fears, but we love the people, and we're not gonna.
Oh, that's right.
We appreciate
I love you, Karch. I'm not scared of you. I am scared of Charlie with you.
Yeah, he's.
I would say that's probably a phobia.
I do have a tendency to strike fear into people.
It's.
But not like I'm intimidated by you, more like
Oh,
repulse me, but
okay. So like I'm a spider, and you're kind of like I don't want to be near. Okay.
more like a
No.
centipede.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, does this all sound good to everybody? This new format type thing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sounds
I'm
great.
excited.
Let's do the podcast.
All right. Cool. Let's hit it. We're doing a podcast.
All right, let's do the intro.
All right, folks.
All right,
What?
let's go.
Tall places, heights. How about everyone just give me your quick thought on how you feel about heights, just in general, and being up there, being real tall. Devin, you go first.
Being up real tall, heights is not. This is not one of. I'm not that scared of heights. I'm not comfortable being up super high. I get vertigo if I'm up really in tall buildings and looking out windows and things like that, and it freaks me out and I get dizzy. But it's more of just a physical reaction more than I'm mentally afraid of it. I'm okay being up in high places, but I just kind of get motion sick being up that high. So that's kind of how it is.
Okay. Joe, how about you?
No, I
No.
don't like
Wow.
heights.
Mm.
No to heights. I read a book by Terry Pratchett where he described it's not so much the fear of heights as the fear of depth. I can look up just
Oh.
fine. Looking down? No. No.
Okay, well, for me, it's actually going to go into like later on when we talk to me about my fear, but I do not like heights at all. For me, it's that feeling of falling from a high place. Because like I remember just like climbing, like rock climbing and stuff like that. I can barely do that because it's just if I let go, I'm gonna die, right? Like, and I don't want that. Like I hate the feeling of falling. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can kind of relate to Karch in that same feeling. Whenever I have dreams, typically, whenever I'll have dreams sometimes where I'm falling, and that falling feeling will wake me up sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you get that real weird sense in the bottom of your gut whenever.
Isn't that like a legit thing that your brain does though?
Well, it's vertigo, isn't it?
No, I don't know if it's vertigo,
To a
but
certain
your brain doesn't realize you're trying to sleep, so it tries to wake you up. So it does that to you. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yeah, it's like a reflex.
Yeah, and you dream yourself falling or getting hit or something like that, and you kick away because of it.
It's called a hypnic jerk.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh,
yeah.
and it's like hypnagogic jerk, right?
Hypnagogic jerk. Yeah, sleep
Wow.
start. Often accompanied by a falling sensation. You're about to fall asleep, and suddenly you jolt yourself awake.
I believe you're referring to the kick.
Ooh,
The kick.
Yeah.
I've been kicked before.
So
Shout out
my
Inception.
personal feelings on heights, it varies. It depends, kind of. I was a tree climber as a kid. My mom likes to say that I was climbing before I was walking, which I think a lot of people do.
Yeah, I think that's
Which isn't that unique, but I was just a wild animal as a child. I climb anything I could, but I'm not the biggest fan of higher ups, as you can.
Right.
So
yeah,
it's more about edges than anything.
yeah, I was gonna touch that because like I've flown before and I'm totally fine with that because I feel like secure in that area. But when it comes to climbing or being by an edge, that's where like it definitely like feels like
It always is the edge.
yeah.
What about whenever you're near like a window, like the window of the plane? Because I prefer the windows of the planes, but I mean, does that affect you, or just the fact that you're in the plane is okay now?
I think it doesn't affect me at all. I think it's just the fact that I feel safer inside.
Yeah,
than-
you're like I'm meant to be here, kind
yeah,
of thing.
yeah.
If you climb up a rock wall, you're like, I don't feel like naturally I should be up this high. But
Yeah.
in an airplane, you have purpose, so yeah,
Yeah.
you can find safety in that. I feel that. That's how I am too.
I'm better with heights and planes, but when I'm in planes, I also worry about crashing and dying immediately. So
Yeah.
there's some other stuff.
That's not fear of heights, though. That's
No, it's not. No,
That's
it's the fear
that's
of
a
dying
that's a next episode.
That's a plane
in a
thing.
horrible accident.
That's a future podcast.
Fear planes.
Okay, so before we go any deeper with heights here, I want to lay out some scenarios for you guys. Just tell me how comfortable you would feel doing some of these things.
Sure.
Number one, a hot air balloon ride.
Oh, no. Yes. Absolutely not.
I'm actually somewhat okay with that. My uncle owns like he's like part of like a hot air balloon team. And when I was younger, we used to go to their like events and things like that. And I've been up in a hot air balloon with him. Yeah, so I'm okay with that.
If you manage to get me in a hot air balloon, I probably love you like a lot. 'Cause that does not sound like a good time.
It's not. I don't think it's not like a plane though, because
No, it's not.
because to me, I mean, I don't know a lot about like hot air balloons, but you're in a basket really high up in the air, and there's this kind of string connected to it, and if that string snaps or something, or that balloon pops, you're going.
Well, I
down.
think they have precautions against. I don't think they use string and balloon.
Yeah.
Like it's a stirdier material
okay.
and a thicker,
whatever.
more of a rope type.
Come on,
Alright, nylon.
have to- Well, like it's
Yeah,
that feel because I feel like for me, I have to be inside something high up to like feel safe.
Let's be honest. You're in a dang basket being held afloat by a balloon.
Yeah, no.
I don't want to be in that thing.
No.
That's crazy.
No, thank you.
I've looked at them. They're cool to look at.
They do look nice.
They are nice.
I've gone to those events, like where all the hot air balloons.
Yeah,
and-
those are
and
awesome.
My concern is why haven't any of them ran into each other on?
Oh, they
accident?
have.
Oh,
There
okay.
has been hot air balloon accidents.
God.
Yeah, like
We won't tiptoe into those tragedies. All right.
Yeah.
Anyways, next scenario, zip lining.
I've done ziplining before. The start of it is scary, but the closer I get to the ground, I feel I'm better with it.
It's almost over.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun though, but I haven't done the really high up zip lining where like you're going over the woods or
Like the top of a
that.
canopy of a forest or something like
stuff
that.
like that. I've only done pretty like I guess you could say smaller zip lines before, but
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know if you've ever been to an amusement park where they have that where they like pull you up and then you swing back and forth.
And they launch you or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, you're like attached to a rope and then they drop you. Ziplining's better than that, but it's still scary.
They're both not fun.
Oh yeah, I would never think.
The best part about that is you pay to get into the amusement park, and then you pay for the privilege again to be terrified.
Yeah, it's
That stuff costs extra.
I think I'm okay. I mean, similar to Karch, I haven't done, like the super high up stuff like that, but I've been on zip lining before and I've been okay with that. And, I do like the roller coasters and other theme park rides and whatnot. So that doesn't affect me too much. The only one that I'm kind of hesitant with is the ball one with the two cables where they pull it down and they sling you up into the air and you bounce around,
Oh yeah.
I'm not really crazy about that one, but I don't know if it's because I'm up so high because you're so disoriented that you can't see it, but I think it's more of I get motion sick really easy. So I don't think that's really a fear of heights with that one, but
the fear of getting sick, I guess.
I've never
Yeah,
ziplined myself
really
personally.
Right.
I think I would enjoy it. I'm a big roller coaster guy.
It's a thrill.
Oh yeah, it's pretty cool.
And my height fear is it's a little weird. I have a story about it later. Okay, so next scenario: standing on the observation deck of the Empire State Building. How are we feeling?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not. I've never been to New York, so I don't know like how I would be. But I feel like that's another kind of one where it's like, I mean, how many people go up there a day, kind of thing. And I think I find solace in that, and so I could probably go up there and look over the edge and be. I mean, probably not gonna. I'm not sticking myself, way over the edge. I mean, obviously they have rails around it and stuff like that, but I think I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, for me, I think that's kind of like a plane thing because there's protective areas so you can't jump off or you fall off. So I think it would have a good view, so I think I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
Ugh, probably not. That's like really high. Like I know it's probably not as high as a hot air balloon, but I don't know.
What about there's that building that has that glass
I think it's
floor.
Sears, right? Sears
yeah,
Tower.
there's a glass floor that you can walk out and you just look down and
Definitely not.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to do that.
I'd do it.
I'd walk out, but I'd probably not stay long for me.
Again, I don't think that's a fear of heights, though. I think that's just a fear of dying. Like, if that glass breaks, I mean, see you later.
I've been in the Space Needle.
Oh, wow.
I've been in the Arch.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Those are both. I enjoyed both of them. I had a good time both times I've done it. So I would probably go up any tall building, go in any observation deck that has been, safety inspected and passed all the stuff.
That will definitely not kill me.
Yeah. I'm not trying to, go crazy. I'm not gonna walk on any edges or anything, but I will enjoy a tall building. All right, final scenario. Walking across a suspension wooden bridge in the jungle, high above a canyon.
Like what you see in the movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, like Indiana Jones. Temple of Doom.
I think I think I would have a hard time doing it because I just I would keep going back to the movie and being like, well, this always
When's it gonna break?
It always something bad happens whenever you walk over a bridge like this.
See, I kind of want to do that because see, on the other side, I'm thinking about the movie too. But I'm thinking about like one end snaps, right? And then it like flies down and you hold on to it like a ladder, you ride that puppy all the way to the other side of the canyon and you climb up it. I mean, that's probably more of like just being excited by action movie stunts because in reality, I mean, I'm not strong enough to hold myself onto that ladder and it's going to smack into the thing and I'm going to hurt myself really bad and probably fall. But,
right.
But I mean, just walking across it, what condition is this bridge in, Charlie? I mean, is it like super old or? Because there are some bridges that I see people and they have like netting on the sides of them and they look pretty decent.
It's a standard bridge. There's nothing too strong or too weak about it.
Yeah, okay. Man. Regardless, I think
I don't want to sway anyone's feelings about it.
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, This is where it's weird because I would not enjoy this as much. I feel like just the idea of being out in the middle of something like that, like the middle part is the scariest part. You're just like, there's no solace anywhere.
There's no going back.
It's kind of like being out in the ocean. So yeah, I wouldn't enjoy this one.
Well, it's like when you get out to the middle, you kind of have supports with the bridge, but you're afraid of the bridge too because you don't want the bridge to break. And I don't know, it's not like a plane, right? You're
not
a plane, or a building. You're safe in there. Nothing can really happen to it, right? But when you're on a bridge like that, stuff can go down.
There's more variables. Yeah, there's more variables.
All right, does anyone have any personal stories about experiences with heights that maybe weren't so great?
Oh yeah,
I do. You want to go first, Karch?
Sure. I mean, I guess this is kind of going into a lot of this is kind of relating back to when we talked to me, but I'll tell one story. It was grade school. We 6th grade. You can go our entire class can go to this camp. Like we would go to this campsite and Camp Lakewood it was called. I don't know if you guys have heard of that or know about it, but had a bunch of different activities, and one of them was climbing this really tall, it wasn't like a rock climbing thing. It was just this bunch of it was just this big tower that you can climb up. And I remember I was like, I don't want to do this. I can't climb this thing. And everyone was doing it. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. And then I got up about, I want to say 10 feet. And then I was like, okay, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I was terrified. I wasn't even that high up. I was like, I can't do this anymore. This is way too scary.
It's understandable.
Yeah, I mean, even though you have the harness, you still have the harness, right? Like, if someone like if you fall, they're gonna catch you. I didn't trust it. And I was like, I still can't do this, even with that hooked to me, right?
It's like a pervasive thing. You have to get down.
Yeah.
Especially as being like a kid. I mean, you gotta put a lot of trust in people like you don't really know that well.
And the hardest part was them going, okay, well, you have to climb down now. I'm like, well, I can't do that. And they're like, okay, well, then
I live here now.
And then they're like, okay, then you can jump. And I'm like, I don't want to do that either.
This is my life.
It's like,
this is where I'm at.
I'm in a really shitty spot right now.
Yeah, they're just like, okay, you could just let go.
Right.
What are you talking about? I'm 3 stories up right now. I can't just let go.
I don't remember the exact height
if I fall.
But it wasn't that high, but it was really high to young Karch, and young Karch couldn't handle it for some reason. Very embarrassing too, because everyone was able to climb almost all the way to the top or really close, and
right,
I couldn't because I was too afraid.
I'm sure we'll talk about this more later with you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
My story with heights is a little less. I was alone at the time, so I didn't have any extra fear from embarrassment. So I behind my parents' house is train tracks, it's about 10 feet behind their house, and it's surrounded by woods, so it's pretty isolated. And as a adventuring young man that I would often go out there alone during the seasons of the year, any season, winter, summer. It's just great. I just walk around out there and get in all kinds of trouble by myself, almost dying, falling into the Mississippi River and stuff like that.
By yourself?
Yeah, by myself. I never fell in the Mississippi River, but it was right next to us.
Jeez.
But anyways, I usually walk along the tracks, and sometimes I would walk really far along the tracks, and I don't even know how far down, but after a certain distance down the tracks, I came upon this metal tower thing and had a ladder, and I guess it was some way for people to service the trains when they were stopping so they could climb up. I don't know what it was. But anyway, it had platforms at 2 different levels that you could sit on or stand on. And I decided, hey, I'm going to climb this, What else would you do when you come across something like this?
Right.
So I climbed up it.
Walk away.
Yeah, walk away would be another good option.
That's kind of...
Well, my frontal lobe is still not fully developed, so at that time, it definitely wasn't. So I climb up to the first level, and I'm like, all right, this is okay. This is okay. And then I decide I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna go for the highest level, all the way to the top. And I climb up there, and I look down, and everything suddenly feels like it's unstable, and I am feeling dizzy.
Oh.
And I was. It was probably about 15, 20, maybe 20. I don't even know. It could be just me exaggerating the height because of my memory. But yeah, it was trippy, and I was I felt really unstable, and I like hugged the ladder as I scurried down.
Oh my
and I was
God.
just like, and I like sat on the ground. And I looked at that metal thing, and I was like, I ain't ever coming here again. And then I walked back home.
Is that thing still by your house? Do you know? Or
I don't know. I could probably go find it. Yeah.
You should conquer your fear and go there.
I should go back.
Try to climb it.
I actually did walk back to it one day, and I was just like, And I was like, not today. Not today. And I kept going.
You already traumatized me enough. That's
So Joe, you
fine.
said you had a story.
Yes, I do. So probably 7 years ago, I went rappelling with scouts, and I want to say the cliff that we were rappelling from, because we didn't climb up to it, we were rappelling down to the ground, was probably 50 or 60 feet up, and it was like a sheer cliff face. So you had to jump, you had to fall down and plant your feet on the cliff, and then you could rappel down, which was terrifying for one thing. And it was especially terrifying when, because I was already scared and nervous, I missed with my feet and hit my butt on the cliff face and fell upside down.
Holy cow!
Oh.
You know, I probably almost had a heart attack,
Oh my God.
but I laid there for a while and got my feet up onto the cliff somehow and made it to the ground and didn't die, and here I am.
Would you
Never
say
again.
Would you say that's kind of what started your fear? Of...
No.
No.
No, I was already
You're
Just
already
encouraged it.
No, I was already
said-
scared.
Just you know what it did? It proved my fear right. Well-deserved fear. I am now
That was
assured.
definitely one of the low points in terms of how scared I was.
I didn't want to be up
But-
there in the first place anyway.
No, I did. It was very much like, okay, I guess I'm gonna do this,
Wow.
Yeah.
and it almost went terribly. But we're fine.
Yeah, almost went terribly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Jeez.
so most
Louise.
people have had some experience with being up high, either just from going tourism attractions, going in tall buildings, or roller coasters, stuff like that. And people handle it to varying degrees. But the main issues with the fear of heights, or having even like a phobia of heights, if you get that extreme, is it can hinder your life. The two main things I would assume would be inability to enter tall buildings and flying, which is one of the main forms of travel in America today. Do you guys have any, like, I know Mel said he doesn't like to fly.
Right.
Is there, you want
Not a
to,
lot. I'm not too terrible with it, but it's always like when I first get on, it's like, okay, time to live through my fears for a little while.
Does it get
But it's
like
not too
less
bad.
scary?
I think so.
The more you
Especially when I fall asleep, which is what I usually do
you
on the
can
plane.
fall asleep, it must not be too
Well,
bad.
The plan is I'm gonna
Right.
fall asleep, and if I wake up, hey, everything's fine. But if I
Great.
don't wake up, well, it happens. So
At least I wasn't awake to be part of it.
Right.
man.
I died doing what I
I'm
love.
habituated.
Yeah,
to
I
Being
it too,
unconscious.
I always find comfort in the idea that, the most dangerous thing you do more than likely every day is, get into your vehicle and drive your car around.
yeah,
So, and flying is infinitely, okay, not infinitely, but statistical, much safer than ever driving on the highways or
Yeah.
any road in America.
isn't that crazy?
So, it's understandable. I mean, there's nothing, like, for the most part, what are you going to crash into in the sky? There ain't nothing up there.
The only thing, birds. But other than
Yeah,
that,
birds,
Yeah, Sully, dude.
Yeah, Sully. They made a whole movie about it.
R.I.P.
He's alive.
Oh,
He's
okay.
alive. Sully,
Congratulations.
if you're listening, Sully, come on our podcast. Thanks.
Shout
We'd
out.
love to talk to you.
So another thing about heights is that people, taking advantage of the fact that most humans are naturally afraid of heights. Obviously, the next step for any self-respecting human is to turn it into a thrill-seeking adventure. So the most common thrill-seeking is probably skydiving, most popular and mostly done by most people. It's, everyone's what's on your bucket list? It's like, I want to go
Skydive.
skydiving. I
Yeah.
want to go skydiving.
That or maybe like bungee jumping or something like
Yeah,
that.
bungee jumping. That's another example of
Yeah.
height-related thrill seeking. I mean, roller coasters, obviously.
Roller
Roller coasters is a little bit of everything, though. They got
Right.
speed and crazy turns and flips, but it's mostly about the height and doing big drops. That's the money. And then we have tight ropes as well, which is my favorite. I love tightrope walkers.
That guy that tried to traverse the Grand Canyon on that giant cable.
He did. He succeeded.
I know it was nuts.
Yeah, I watched that live.
That's
I
But it was
I know, I
live
watched
on
it
a
too.
delay.
yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Obviously, because you're not gonna let some guy kill himself on national TV. But
the thing is, like, if it cuts out, then you don't see him fall, but like, oh, okay.
this
this
guy.
guy.
You know
just
what you
fell.
need to know.
This guy just fell and died.
He's gone. I mean, I feel like everyone's watching that and like secretly hoping that he falls.
Yeah, that morbid curiosity type thing.
Just like, I just hope he falls, so I can say I was watching it live when it happened.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
ki-
where were you when he fell into the Grand Canyon?
I was there on my couch, just being like, "What the hell is he doing?"
yeah. Or this
guy's an idiot.
That guy that I think it happened a couple years ago. He jumped from like the highest point, like the highest like skydive. He got in like this capsule and like.
Oh yeah, the guy for the Red Bull.
Yeah,
he fell the longest distance.
I watched that. That was crazy.
Skydiving as a sport. I don't know if you guys have seen any of this stuff, but like skydiving is actually a sport that people compete to reach the highest velocities. Jeez. And I watched something about this one guy, and he like first of all they have to wear like these specially made helmets that make them like more aerodynamic so that they can like pierce through the air quicker. Okay.
Right.
And second of all, they jump out of their plane, but they jump out backwards head first. They jump out backwards head like they do basically like a backflip out of the plane, and then they have to like arch their back. But basically what they do is, I mean, the sport, I don't know how it's doing right now, but it seems like it's kind of fizzling out because people are like reaching terminal velocity, and then multiple people are like reaching this terminal velocity, and then nobody can go faster because like that's basically it kind of thing, you know? So, but I watched something about that, and they were, some dude was happy about the fact that he was plummeting to earth at, so many miles per hour. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, that's somebody I don't want to associate with.
That's your sport.
Thrill seekers are an interesting breed of people, for sure.
Yeah, I don't get it.
There's
a lot I don't understand it.
Sedimentary.
It doesn't make any sense.
I'm a sedimentary person.
I am a rock.
Well, I wanted to kind of touch base with cause the phobia, and I was thinking about like because I bet there's people that they have that fear of heights is so extreme that even small like elevations like terrify them. Right?
Oh, I assume that someone with acrophobia or altophobia has trouble going to the second floor.
Right, like walking up the stairs or something like that.
I assume that that's what a real phobia would be. It's so overpowering and irrational that you can't do normal activities that most people do without thinking.
I saw a video of some woman. She got up on a table to change a light bulb, and then she was like she was like crying because like she needed help getting off of the table because she was like up higher than she typically was.
Right.
Jeez.
Kind of thing. So yeah, I mean it could definitely be debilitating. I think
that's crazy because that's like how would you live like that, right?
Yeah, I know. I mean
that's why they
somebody
need,
else
medical treatment,
right?
Get help and stuff like that.
But if you even if you live in a ranch style home where it's just one floor, even small elevations. Right, like I'm really curious how crazy it can get, like from I guess climbing on a chair, but even crazier to getting on the bed, like climbing onto your bed, like if your bed's up, right?
That'd be
So people have to sleep on the floor, like they put their bed on the floor, right? Or taking one step on a stair, right? Like,
so that's obviously one extreme,
right?
And the other extreme would be to have almost a supernatural non-fear of heights, and that's what some people in this world seem to have. There's a man, his name is Alex Hanold. He is a famous rock climber. He is known for what is called free climbing.
God.
Mm-hmm. And free climbing is when you climb pretty much sheer mountain faces and cliff faces without any ropes or any protective gear whatsoever. He is famous for being the first free solo ascent of El Capitan on June 3rd, 2017,
Jeez.
Which is a very large cliff, whatever you want to call it, that is in Yellowstone, I believe. And he climbed it in 3 hours and 56 minutes. So for 3 hours and 56 minutes, this man was up a giant wall of stone, just hanging there with his hands and feet, and only some talc powder to give him the friction he needs. So how do you think people manage to do stuff like that, where they can just climb up things with you just immune to it almost?
Well, isn't that interesting? Because you can ask the same question of, well, how can someone be so afraid of walking up the stairs, right?
Right. Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense to, a layperson. I don't know. Maybe I can see it maybe being like he grew up just kind of being used to that. Like right when he was born or as he was growing up, he was always climbing, just always doing that nonstop. Yeah. So it just kind of became like, every day.
Free soloing, which is what it was actually called, free climbing, free soloing, is pretty controversial within the rock climbing community. Some people say it is obviously reckless and foolhardy, and he's gotten a lot of flack for doing it. But I think it's about just conquering. It's like that conquering aspect that human beings have always seemed to have. Like, what's the point of going and climb up Mount Everest? Just to do it. That's why it's there.
It's to say you did it. right?
Yeah, it's to say you did it.
Right.
And then he is climbing the hardest. Like El Capitan is one of the hardest rock climbs in the world. It's very difficult.
Wow.
It's a 3,000-foot climb, and it's just got hard technical skills needed to climb it. And he just decided, I'm gonna go climb this thing, and he did. But he's like a professional rock climber, so I hope no one out there is thinking maybe I can do this too. Some people out there think that they are professionals, and I'm sure everyone has seen the YouTube videos of people getting into under construction buildings or completed buildings, getting up to the highest points, and then doing stupid shenanigans on the edges of the buildings without any protective anything.
Like those people climbing the Burj Khalifa or the...
Right.
Yeah.
Apparently, this is like a hobby known as roof-topping, which is a great name.
I didn't know that was a thing. Wow.
What could they possibly do?
So yeah, they climb up there, and then they take cool pictures for Instagram and take cool videos for YouTube and get tons of views and likes, all for nothing, because at the end of the day, and here's one that just happened in December 12th, 2017, a Chinese daredevil plunged to his death while attempting to do pull-ups off a skyscraper.
Oh.
So he would get off the edge of the skyscraper and decide, I'm going to do some pull-ups, and he fell. And you can unfortunately see the video of this happening.
No.
Only the fall, not the landing.
Right,
Yeah,
of course,
but,
yeah.
I mean...
But you're just like, well, there it is.
Kind of similar to the Grand Canyon thing, you know? I mean, if that video cuts out, I mean, you
No,
may
yeah.
not see it directly, but you know what's happening.
Well, so I don't want to like say that every person that does stuff like that, or even the free climbing, do it because so they can say that they do it. Maybe it's fun to them, but I think maybe for that portion, maybe there's a large, or maybe all of them that say that they do it because they can get, cool pictures and videos and stuff like that. But
Kind of show off.
yeah,
Very grandiose.
yeah, because we've all seen those videos.
Yeah, they make people feel sick to their stomach when they watch them too. But they're like, they just keep watching them. It's exhilarating to live vicariously.
That subreddit, sweaty palms, right?
Yeah, sweaty palms.
It's just videos of people. I've seen. It's not people sneaking into construction sites, but it was people who work on electrical lines.
Right.
And apparently, this video is they're helicoptered in. Like these two guys are hanging on a harness, and they're helicoptered into an area where they have to fix electrical lines, and they're just in a helicopter, and then they climb off onto a bunch of metal bars, and it's why would you do this? Why do you work like that?
Yeah, it's got to be some attention. It's attention-seeking stuff,
right? Or someone has to do it when it comes to work, maybe.
Yeah, but they're taking proper safety precautions, and they're trained, and they people figured this stuff out.
That's true.
But yeah, I don't. It's just been encouraged by the world. That's Thrill-seeking humans have been around forever.
Yeah.
But now everyone can access them, and they can make money off it way easier than they used to be able to.
Yeah, you can get maybe not. I don't know about nowadays, but tell like a special on TV saying, "Oh, I'm gonna jump from the highest point into this body of water" or something like that, right? Or
going back to the guy who went over the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
And then that was
a huge thing.
The reason the Chinese man was doing this roof-topping is a roof-topping challenge where he was attempting to win $15,000 in prize money.
What the heck?
So he was being motivated, monetarily to go do something entirely stupid.
I wonder if his family got I don't know. I mean, I feel like whoever's who's supplying that prize money.
I don't know.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I feel like if anybody's at fault, it's kind of them. I mean, if you're trying to, you're basically asking people to, risk their lives.
Yeah.
And then once again,
they're kind of at fault.
And on December 31st, there was a roof-topping photographer who died in New York City. He fell off a 52-story building while photographing his fellow roof-topping friends.
Jeez.
So it's just not worth it, folks.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. You heard it here first. Probably not here first, but you probably heard it somewhere else, and now you're hearing it again.
Right.
Don't go roof-topping.
Feet on the ground.
Keep your feet on the ground, dude.
Is parkour really that cool? I mean, is it really that worth it to get a sick parkour vid for your buds?
I mean, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like
but that's different than just standing on top of a tall thing and saying, "Hey, look at me. I'm tall."
They do flips off kind of tall things.
Yeah, I think it's just crazy. People are just nuts.
Right.
But my favorite nutso is what's his name? The guy who walked between the Twin Towers, the tight ropes.
Yeah. What's his name?
It's Pierre something.
What is this?
They had a movie.
I don't think I ever heard about this.
They made a movie.
What?
Yeah.
His name is Philip Petit. It's probably not the correct pronunciation. Yeah, they made a Man on Wire and the Walk with Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, he wasn't.
This guy snuck up. He did get arrested. He snuck up between the Twin Towers and rigged up a tightrope, and he's spent up there for, it says 43 minutes. He walked back and forth. He's a professional high wire artist, so he's a tightrope walker. And you can watch I recommend the documentary Man on Wire. Very fun to watch. Man is pretty much insane when it comes to this. It's his art for him, so it's like about expressing himself. Apparently,
yeah.
He's like laying on the cable, and
it's nuts. He's got some good balance.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's about a quarter mile off the ground, just hanging out.
That is insane. Good Lord, no way.
But he became very famous for doing this, and I mean it's well deserved. Everyone likes to. People are attracted to this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean that's a definite. That's a no-brainer because everything like thrill seeking, like roller coaster, skydiving, and stuff it's all about seeking that thrill. And I guess people will get to the point where that stuff isn't good enough for them, and they have to go do something really stupid.
It's like a hobby. Well, it is a hobby, right?
It is a hobby.
Yeah.
It's just a very extreme and crazy hobby.
Yeah, no way.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Just make a podcast, you idiots. It's way simpler.
Be us.
Make a podcast talking
Make a
about
dumb
how you
podcast
like
that 5 people will listen to, and you just feel good about yourself.
It'd be sedimentary.
Sedimentary. Study some rocks.
Study some rock.
All right, so I think we pretty much covered most of height. Let's give it our scare scale. Let's rank it up. Personal scare scale for everybody. Joe, you gotta go first.
You know what? I'm gonna rank this at a 3.9.
Wow.
3.9.
I am not a fan.
Why not the
Like
whole 4?
looking out my window right now, I can handle that. But if it's much higher, if I was on the roof, nah, that would not be good. And anything higher is just terrifying.
Yeah, being exposed to that on a daily basis.
Yeah. Like,
So why not the complete 4?
because
Yeah, the 0.9.
yeah, like so there's a roller coaster at Worlds of Fun called the Mamba, which is very high up, and yes, I do get terrified, and yes, there's a pit in my stomach every time I ride it, but I've still ridden it more than once, so like I can handle it. But if it was a daily thing, I would not be able to.
Do you think then 4 would be where the extreme kind of height sphere comes from then?
Yeah, I think. Well, I think if I was getting up on a table and being terrified, I think it would. That kind of goes beyond 4.
Right.
But in terms of, I think that again, 4 is kind of where the phobia I think starts.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm quite there, but
That's
I'm not
fair.
a fan.
My personal ranking, I'll give it a 2.4. I'm much more afraid of heights than I am of clowns. I will avoid unnecessary heights. I will avoid putting myself in danger with heights. I'm afraid of edges. I think that's what it comes down to.
Right.
I'm afraid of edges, afraid of falling, and then I'm afraid of dying from the fall. That's what it really ends up with. So a 2.4 for me. Devin, how about you?
Mine's probably gonna be, probably similar to yours. I'll probably just give it a solid 2. I'll give it a solid 2. Again, I'm not. I don't. It's not the height aspect of it that scares me. It's more of that. I'd be okay skydiving if you could 100% guarantee that my parachute would deploy, kind of thing. I'm okay with skydiving, but I'm not okay with having to trust. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. It's not that I'm up high that freaks me out. It's the fact that I might die or that my parachute might not work, kind of thing, that freaks me out. So that the height aspect of it doesn't really freak me out too much. So I'm just gonna give that one a 2 straight up.
2 straight up. Karch?
Well, I think I would give it around 2.8. I think I really don't like being high up. I can handle it whenever I'm indoors. It's not to an extreme where if I live high up, in an apartment, I can't, I can handle that. But when it comes to stuff like climbing or standing on the edge, I can't handle it at all. I just can't.
Understandable. So obviously, if I got to mention, but the scare scale is on a 1 to 4 scale, 1 being the lowest and 4 being the highest. This overall was a 2.775, slightly higher than our fear of clowns.
Yeah.
So good
Probably
job,
makes
heights.
sense.
You beat clowns.
Yeah.
More people would be scared of heights than clowns.
What
Heights
about,
will now move on to the next round to face the next.
Yeah.
what about
Heights
being,
is the champion.
what about being
Get out
high
of here,
up
clown.
with a clown? What is that then?
I think it's just like a mixture of the two. It's like a 2.7 overall. Anyways,
2.7 overall.
So that's
better actually.
That's heights. We're gonna take a quick break and then we're gonna interview Karch. So stick around for that. All right, so we're back, and we're going to talk to Karch Gilo about his fears and himself. So, Karch, just start us off. Just tell us a little bit about yourself so people can get a feel for the man, myth, legend.
I am currently a full-time student at a university studying cybersecurity. I'm unemployed. I'm looking for a job.
Anyone's hiring, listening?
Any jobs out there?
IT intern for the summer, let me know.
What's a big goal you have in life?
I like to help people. So
okay.
I definitely, the end goal after all of this is to kind of become a teacher.
Nice.
I like helping people. I want people to feel comfortable in kind of the area that I'm studying, because I know how kind of hard and complicated it can be. So I want people to not feel kind of out of the loop and kind of shunned because they don't understand it. I want everyone to kind of figure it out at their own pace and understand it. So, yeah, be a teacher, get my PhD, see how that goes. But I should probably get my bachelor's first.
Dr. Karch.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Dr. Gilo.
That's great. All right, so to start off, just tell me, like, what was your childhood like with, like, regards to fear? So, did you watch a lot of scary movies? Did your parents shelter you a lot? Were you exposed to anything? I mean, keep in mind you can disclose whatever you want to disclose or not disclose whatever you want to disclose. But how was your childhood like with scary stuff? Halloweens.
We were pretty. I think my parents were. You would consider them strict, but they kind of just followed the rules of society, I want to say. So if we weren't 13, we couldn't go see a PG-13 movie. So if we weren't 13, we couldn't buy a rated T game. If we weren't 17, we can't buy a rated M game. That was just the rule. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't shown a lot of those really scary movies or video games at a young age. I mean, I had my own fears. Having 5 siblings and 3 of them being older brothers, that can be pretty scary. So
that's a whole nother world of fear right there.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I wasn't. And for Halloween, it's funny enough. I think I'm one of the few people that really just I don't understand Halloween at all.
Really,
I stopped dressing up after 3rd grade. 3rd grade was the last time I ever dressed up for Halloween.
Wow.
Yeah.
You weren't driven by candy motivation like most children?
I'm not a big candy guy in general, so I think maybe that's another reason why. But
yeah, it's all connected.
So I stopped doing that, and I wasn't really interested. It wasn't until I think high school, whenever I started getting it more shown, the scary stuff and the scary games, and realizing, oh, this is pretty spooky. Watching, The Conjuring, Poltergeist, The Shining, all those scary movies, and I guess for me it was kind of a thrill because I'm really terrified by this, and I'm sitting on a couch with a pillow in front of my face because I'm scared, but I actually like it, kind of in a way, right?
So you do enjoy it then?
I kind of enjoyed.
You like to be scared
to an extent because I feel safe when I'm watching a scary movie because I know they're not going to jump out and kill me, right?
Well, theoretically, no.
You never know, but I think that's kind of where maybe my thrill meter is: scary movies, scary video games.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of people feel the same way.
But I'll only do it with other people, right? I'll never.
You have to be. You can't watch things alone at 3 a.m. in the dark.
Yeah, so
that's not your style. You need a companion.
Game, or if I'm watching a scary movie, I need one other person or a group of friends hanging out while we're watching.
What about like an animal? A dog secure your faith?
I think maybe a nice pet a dog or cat would keep me comforted. But I want the other reaction from the other people. That's kind of why I prefer the human aspect. But
okay.
But yeah, that's where my thrill meter kind of hits. That's where it stops. Is scary movies, I guess.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to the nitty gritty.
Okay.
Let's talk about your actual fear. So, what would you say? I don't know, top 2, top 3 fears, whatever you can think of.
I don't think I can rate them in any order, but my top 3 would definitely be roller coasters.
Roller coasters?
Sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of a third one. I guess heights. Honestly, maybe. Yeah. So yeah, roller coasters, sleep paralysis, and then heights for right now. Or sorry, the unknown. I'm kind of scared of the unknown and not understanding.
There we go. I was curious if you because the first 3 you listed were all very human physical stuff.
Because I do have a story about
more
something
vague.
that scared me and I can't explain why.
Okay, are you willing to tell that?
Yeah,
here,
I can tell it. Yeah,
sure, go for it.
So this only happened to me one time, and till this day, I don't know why it happened or how it happened. It might have been something with my brain, but
okay, most things are.
Yeah. I don't know what age I was, but I was pretty young because at the time I was sharing a room with my 3 other brothers, and I remember just lying in bed, and we were all, in bed sleeping, and I was up, and I just kept hearing voices. And it wasn't voices like, oh, my parents are up or it's my other siblings talking. It was like, oh, there's two women talking to each other and here's an old man speaking. Just in the room. I was just hearing voices to speak. And the one thing, though, that I realized was they weren't talking about me, but they were just talking to each other, just speaking about random stuff. I remember Spider-Man was there at some point, and that's kind of where I kind of realized maybe I was just kind of
in a dream,
and maybe a dream. But the thing is, I remember it. Because what happened was, I just remember there was one voice that didn't like me at all, and he made it clear, because he would call me that dumb kid. He goes, that dumb kid lying in that bed right now. He would keep saying that.
That's spooky.
And it felt like he could read my thoughts.
Because, God.
So we were young, so we had a bunch of toys, right? And we were playing with those toys, and they were all over the floor. And I kind of looked over at the floor, and I saw this kind of small, kind of black kind of thing on the floor. And I go, wait, is that a spider? In my head, I say that. And then this voice goes, yeah, that's a spider. Oh. And it's coming after you. And I'm just
geez.
And I was just like, wait, what? Like, cause I didn't realize that, what was happening. I was like, wait, that's a spider? And I just started screaming.
You started screaming?
I started screaming, like, out, like legit screaming. And my dad ran in and turned the light on. And it was not a spider. It was a toy motorcycle just sitting on the floor. And she was like, why are you screaming? I'm like, I thought that was a spider. And I didn't tell him about the voices.
Probably for the best.
Yeah, and he was like, all right, well, why don't you... I don't remember how exactly, but I slept with my parents that night, and I was still hearing the voices, even when I was in the bed with them. But the main guy was gone after that. And I was up pretty late, because I remember the sun coming up when I finally fell asleep. It hasn't happened to me since, and I don't know...
Well, that's a good thing.
What exactly that was, if it was just kind of me playing tricks with myself, like my brain, or just dreaming...
So, that's like a dividing point in your life. There was the Karch before that night, and now there's the Karch after that night.
Yeah, and sleeping's kind of scary for me sometimes now, because it was that, and then it kind of leads into sleep paralysis, right?
Oh yeah, sleep paralysis is a scary thought.
Because I've had those kind of... Well, do you want to explain what sleep paralysis is?
Sleep paralysis, when your body is sleeping, usually when you're in REM sleep and dreaming, your body paralyzes itself to prevent you flailing about too much through your dreams. Some people get around this and they start sleepwalking, so that's like... But you could potentially wake up during this period of paralysis, right, and you are unable to move for, I don't know the specific times behind it, but yeah, you're pretty much stuck where you are.
Yeah.
It wears off. It's not permanent. It's just a temporary thing. But yeah, it's kind of like being trapped inside your own head.
Yeah.
You can't move. You can't talk. You can't do anything. So it can be a very scary idea.
And for me, and I think for a lot of people, they also kind of have scary dreams with it.
Mm-hmm.
This is not me, but I've heard a story of a guy. This is not scary, but he said he was, sleeping, and then he realized he couldn't move his body, and then suddenly, my dog kind of jumped on my bed and started licking my face, and then I woke up. But then I realized my dog's been dead for 2 years.
Oh, jeez.
And see, for me, mine's more terrifying because I don't have a dog haunting me. I have some dark figure standing in my room when I'm in my sleep paralysis.
Right. That doesn't even like you.
It doesn't like me, and there's only been 2 times where he's tried to kill me, I guess I could say.
Oh,
he's tried to, one time both times he would try to smother me with like a pillow, but every time I would just kind of wake up. But
okay, so it is like a dream type thing.
I think it's a dream though, but it's also part of the sleep paralysis because I can't move my body at all.
Right.
And I
it's
wake
about
up
the helplessness.
And the thing is, I wake up screaming again. but no one heard me screaming when I talked to my family the next day. They're like, "Did you hear me screaming last night?" And they go, "No, were you screaming?" I'm like, "Well, I was screaming pretty loud too." So
Damn.
maybe I just have night terrors. Who knows? But
Yeah, that could be possible.
But it hasn't happened recently. It hasn't happened in.
So
about a
you
year
kind
or
of
so.
grown out of it, perhaps.
I think so. But it's still, even talking about it, I'm like, God damn, I gotta go to bed tonight, and I don't want to hit that sleep paralysis. You know.
Oh yeah.
Every time it's mentioned, I'm like, fuck, it's gonna happen to me again.
I can understand that.
But
So-
I wouldn't want to.
So did you find like ways to cope with this, like to like maybe like prepare yourself to get really tired? So
yeah, I have this thing where I repeat in my head, this isn't real. So I'll just keep saying, "You're not real. You're not real. You're not real," and he'll smother me. But then I'll wake up screaming. I'm like, "Oh, okay, I was right. It wasn't real.
haven't been wrong yet.
I haven't been wrong yet."
Mhm.
So other than that, that's kind of the only thing I've really been doing to, I guess, cope with it. But like I said, it hasn't happened in maybe 2 or 3 years, maybe. So
That's good to hear.
I think it's gone.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Your nighttime stalker,
Like-
mean jerk guy is
this
gone.
dark figure, but
The dark figure.
but yeah,
That makes him too scary. Don't call him that. Call him mean jerk guy.
I'll call him mean
little
mean
less
man.
scary.
It's
Big,
it's
mean.
the same guy with the mean voice that didn't like me when I was younger.
He's
That's what
just-
I think.
Maybe he kind of just got over it and just he's gonna haunt somebody else.
I hope he doesn't haunt anybody, because that was terrifying.
What if he haunts,
that
like-
dumb kids? You just gotta call him like that dumb idiot.
That dumb
So-
voice,
That dumb voice.
giant dumb idiot.
That dumb dark figure. All right, so that's pretty scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you said you had a couple other ones that were, so sleep paralysis is related to the unknown and kind of like what is happening to me. But you had two that were real world stuff. You've talked a little bit about heights earlier in the podcast.
Right.
So you said you had, I think you said you had another story with heights, or
Roller coasters. I'm terrified of roller coasters for some
Roller
reason.
coasters.
Six Flags St. Louis. Have we all been there before?
I'm sure most of our listeners have been there too,
Hopefully,
considering our area of
Yeah, most of our viewers.
demographic reach.
So when it comes to going to like Six Flags or any of those kind of amusement parks, when I'm invited, I'll go, but I don't think I'm gonna ride any rides that have roller coasters, because for some reason
Right.
I cannot handle roller coasters. The one I can kind of handle is Mine Train.
Oh,
Six
man.
Flags,
Oh,
right?
It's a great ride.
The starter.
It's fun, but I don't know. It's very scary. I can't really handle it. And then the one time I got out of my comfort zone, at the time it was called Evel Knievel, that only wooden roller coaster.
Right.
Yeah.
I rode that one, and that was so scary.
That one's
Really?
fast. That
Yeah.
one's fast, man. That
I
one
just-
goes.
I think I mentioned this before, but I think it comes to the fact of that feeling of falling and kind of that fear, because the lead up to going up, right? Just going up on the roller coaster slowly, and you kind of look out and you go, I'm really high up,
Anticipation.
and I'm gonna fall soon, and it's terrifying. Even the log flume, the water ride where you
Yeah, Log Flume's classic.
every time we've done that ride, and they take a picture of you whenever you fall, whenever you go down the big
Yeah.
one, you don't see me because my head's down. Like my head's all the way down at my legs, because I can't handle the fall at all.
So that's really interesting to me. Because
Yeah.
the stuff you talk about, like the anticipation and like, oh, here comes the fall, here comes
Right.
the fall, that terrifies you. But for like the other side of the coin, that's what makes it fun for like me and other people that enjoy
yeah.
roller coasters. That's
Yeah.
that's what it's all about. I love going up that and being like, oh man, I want to sit in the front seat. I want to see
Yeah.
that fall coming. That's what
how
makes it exciting. That's what makes it fun. And that's just the best. It's just an exciting time. So it's funny to see that those exact same feelings being turned into, I don't like this.
I
Get
don't
me
want
out of
it.
here.
Exactly. Yeah. It's scary because there's some rides I can do, but if they're not like the non-roller coaster rides, I can definitely handle, right?
Of course.
But I remember being younger, we went to Disney World, the one in Florida, right? Disney World.
Yeah, it's Disney
Yeah.
World.
That's Disney World.
There was this, I forgot what ride it was, but it was a ride that it was like a spinning ride, and you were in like the ship, and it would just kind of go up and down. And I was young.
Okay.
And I remember being young, and I was like, oh, I really want to go on that ride. So my older brother was like, all right, I'll go with you. And then we get in there, and he said that I was just crying the entire time. I was like, I'm so excited. And then I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. But I don't know. It's a lot of a lot of just the roller coaster, and it's just so fast, and you're falling a lot of the times, and loop-de-loops. No way. I haven't done one ever, and I probably never will.
Really?
Yeah.
So you never
always
wrote
close
the
my
Mr.
eyes.
Freeze.
I will never do the Mr. I'll never do Mr. Freeze. I'll never do, the Screaming Eagle or whatever it's called.
Not the Streaming Eagle's good. It doesn't do flips.
There's
But
no
it does.
It's just ups and downs.
I don't know.
The Ninja does a loop.
Okay, that's one there. Ninja. Yeah, I don't want to do
That one don't
Ninja,
ride because
yeah.
it's gonna break your neck.
Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah, or the Batman.
Oh, Batman.
Oh yeah, the one where you hang.
You hang with your feet off. Yeah, it's
That's
too
fun.
scary, dude. I can't handle it for some reason. Going off of the falling aspect of roller coasters and that type of stuff, for me, another kind of big fear for me is elevators. I do a pretty good job of hiding it when I'm in there, but I really don't. I'm not a big fan of riding elevators for some reason.
How does the idea of being trapped in an elevator?
I don't want to. I would rather die, honestly.
Is it on some level the small space, or is it just the kind of height issue?
I think it's the fact that it's a small space, but it's also the fact that if this breaks, then I'm falling. I'm in this
Free fall.
this death trap, and it's gonna fall.
Yeah, pretty much. No, what you gotta do is it's whenever you're falling in the elevator, guys.
Jump.
Yep.
Right before you hit, you just jump,
Yeah, you'll be fine.
and nothing happens to you. You just land perfectly.
I was definitely not busted on MythBusters.
No, this is a proven. I've done it. I've done it.
I've done
for
it.
fun. I go
I
in
do it all the
elevators.
time.
I have them malfunction, and I purposely have them fall, and I jump every time, and I've never been hurt. So that's my recommendation to all our listeners out there. If you're ever gonna fall in an elevator, just jump.
But
At the right moment, you gotta time it right. If you died, you probably didn't time it right. It's probably on you.
it's your fault if you die.
It's your fault.
If you die, don't complain to me.
Yeah, don't write to us.
Don't write
when
in.
you're dead.
Don't write in.
We don't want to
please.
hear it. But,
So you've coped with that one pretty well though.
yeah, no, I can. I don't like doing it, but I can do it.
You can do it.
Yeah, but it's still definitely a fear of mine is riding in elevators.
So has that always been there? Like the roller coaster fear developed. You had that one moment where you went on that first one.
Yeah,
But then how about elevators? Was there like a specific time, or just like always kind of like this is?
it was
a
always
weird
kind of
little...
it was just very weird. You get into these doors open and you get in and you press a button and you have to trust that this metal box is going to carry you to this location, and if it doesn't, well, you're stuck in here. Yeah, I don't know. It was never really a one. Like something happened to me where it caused me to have that fear, right? I think it was kind of me just overthinking it and then kind of developing that fear from that. Same with roller coasters. Even like I can ride the mine train, but it's still very nerve-wracking and scary. But any other roller coaster, I can't. For some reason, I just can't handle it.
Gotcha.
That's why I'm no fun when people invite me to Six Flags and other amusement parks.
I'll just never invite you. Dude.
Exactly. Yes, don't invite me.
Problem solved, Karch.
I just never go when people invite me.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, why would you go? You're just gonna spend money if you do like almost nothing.
Yeah,
That's why I hated when my family would go when I was younger.
They knew.
They're like, oh, we're gonna.
I feel that
over the
actually.
summer. We're gonna go and we're gonna go to Six Flags, and I'm like, I'm not gonna have fun, and I know you're gonna get really mad at me because I'm not doing anything at Six Flags, but I just can't do the roller coasters. I'll do any other ride, maybe, but roller coasters I'm definitely not gonna do.
That's very understandable, and I think no one should ever peer pressure or push someone to doing something like a roller coaster if they don't want to.
Right.
We're not a fan of that on this podcast.
No.
And I'd like to thank Karch for being very brave and sharing his fears with us and discussing them. Everything from the dark figure to the roller coasters themselves.
Yeah.
So if you ever want to like email our podcast, we actually made an email account. I believe it's called friendswithfearpod@gmail.com. You can email that if you really want to. I doubt anyone ever will, but that's cool with me. If you want to do what Karch just did and become a guest on our podcast, we're also accepting more people doing that. We'd love to talk. We'd love to talk to you about your fears, or you can just come on and talk to us for fun. Anything like that. So until next time, be brave out there, Stick together.
Be brave, world.
Buddy system.
And don't tightrope walk across places. You're just asking to die.
Just don't do it.
Keep your feet on the ground.
Yeah.
Keep your feet on the ground.
People need to learn to appreciate the ground. It's great here. I mean, you can't fall when you're on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, you can, but
you don't get hurt as badly when you fall on the ground.
yeah, what's the worst that could happen?
Skin your knee.
Maybe.
Skin your knee, sprain your ankle, you recover.
Maybe.
Anyways,
who does?
if anyone's fallen out there recently, we love you. Don't worry.
But we're sidetrack. We're looking into expanding on other platforms. Maybe YouTube. We're kind of looking into that. Maybe we'll make a Twitter eventually. We don't know.
Probably.
I think we're gonna hold out and see how this stuff goes. But
we're gonna become famous, and then we're gonna do it.
We're on Twitter. All of us are on Twitter too. If you
we
want
are
to
all on Twitter.
mention us, we'll link. We'll all have that stuff in the description.
It'll be great.
Yeah,
we're becoming professional every time. Every episode is better than the last, and it's gonna keep going that way, baby.
Right.
Nothing to go but up.
Come on back now.
Exactly.
Yeah, come on back. All right, so peace out. Have a nice life.
Thanks
This is
for
the end of the
watching.
podcast. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Great. Bye.
There you guys go.
Oh yeah, what you got? What do you got, dude?
Some green tea.
Oh shit! I already.
Were you recording that, Karch?
I was. Yeah.
Oh my God! Sample that.
That's like a Pepsi commercial.
I wasn't recording my open, sadly. But
Dude, I want to hear that sample.
oh my
You do
god.
you do that. You pop that, right? Okay, and then instantly you're like, Pepsi Cola, the new flavor of the generation. I don't fucking know, but something like that.